Hello. Hi. Hi, my name's Abady. She did get it right. We're right here. So yeah, my name's Abady, and I'm a dancer. I'm used to moving my body, which is the name my family cursed me with for the rest of my life. So yeah, this is really weird for me. I'm very used to communicating with my body, so bear with me. I'm going to do my best, but I'm super excited for this. Thank you, Halifax Social Network, for having me. When they told me that I need to talk about quality of life in Nova Scotia, I was like, shit. I just opened up my own dance studio about 4 months ago, so quality of my life is very stressed and sleep deprived and bruised from all the dancing, but I'm also the happiest that I've ever been. If I could go back and tell young 12-year-old closeted gay Abadi that lived in Saudi Arabia that he would be dancing for a living and own a pair of stilettos and teaching people how to twerk, I'm like, no, you would never be do that. But that's the life I live now, and I'm super thankful for it. If you don't know, I grew up in Saudi Arabia, so it's a very conservative and religious country. Being a dancer, being gay was not something you could do there, but it was something that I loved doing my whole life, and I kind of kept it a secret. So once I moved here, it was like a thing that I started experiencing and blossomed into. I'm also mixed race, so being over there, I had a Filipino mother and a Saudi father, so I was basically shunned from the rest of my family until I was like 13. I didn't really meet my relatives until then because I was essentially, as if you read Harry Potter, I'm a mudblood, as they'd call it. So I met my family. It was weird because I was still hiding from them, and I was very excited to finally, meet them. But at the same time, I felt like an outsider that entire time, and I really looked forward to getting out. I'll never forget the first time I saw two men kiss. It was on Desperate Housewives. Yay! Yeah. I remember seeing it happen on season 2, and I literally looked away. I'm like, they can't know that I'm into this. But then I stayed up until 3 in the morning for that rerun in the middle of the night because I'm like, I need to see that again and record it on my little shitty Nokia phone. And anyway, that was a self-discovery. It was amazing. So I made it my mission to get out. I knew living in that side of the world was not a place I could be for the rest of my life. So I worked really hard and eventually got accepted to Dal. I moved here 2008, so just over 10 years ago, and I was like the happiest, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed immigrant. Literally was thankful for everything that happened to me. It was amazing, and I also moved to Halifax because it was a place where I knew nobody knew me. I've never been to Canada before. My family was like, oh, go to Toronto, you have like third cousin this, and LA where you know this aunt. I'm like, no, I want to start at a completely blank slate where nobody knew me, and Halifax literally was that. I mean, Dal had a nice website, that's probably the second reason why I picked it. So stock photos count. So I went there, it was great, and while I was there, I found the most welcoming, supportive community that I could have ever experienced. Growing up where I did, I never felt that. So coming here, I felt that this was the right place. This was home. I never felt at home, even though I lived in the same place my whole life. And it was amazing having that. But because of that joy of experiencing everything that Halifax and Dal and Nova Scotia had to offer, my biggest fear was having to leave. Because if you don't get a job by the time you graduate, you need to peace out and get booted back to wherever you came from, essentially. So I basically worked while I was in school. I would literally go from a meeting back to class and then get picked up and go to all these places. And it was worth it because I got a job before I graduated in my field. So I was like super lucky and super thankful for that. And kept doing that for about 7 years. But at the same time, while I was super thankful and happy for everything, I started to think about am I actually happy? Am I actually doing what I love? Am I doing what I'm passionate about? Or am I just happy that, oh, I have a job, I should be thankful? Because there's so many people that struggle with that and don't get to have a job in where they studied or what they love to do that I felt almost guilty for not being happy with having a job. But at some point you need to learn that you're just happy you have a paycheck, but you still need to find your passion and your purpose in life. So during that period, I actually was also dancing while I was at Dal. I took some recreational dance classes, mostly because I hated the gym. I'm like, I need a workout, but I cannot go to the gym. And I fell in love with dancing. I started taking classes literally on a daily basis. Eventually, I would go to New York and Los Angeles and train as much as I can to make up for lost time. I obviously didn't get to dance while I was in Saudi Arabia. That is not a thing men do. But when I moved here, I literally danced every day. I wanted to make up for not being a trained dancer growing up because it's something that I lacked, and now I fell in love with completely. Having said that, I started teaching because Dell offered me a job to teach. I was like, yes, I get to make money off moving my body. And it's been amazing. But as time went by, I started teaching more dance, and at the same time, I started getting promoted and working in advertising and marketing because that's what I studied in. And it came to a point when I couldn't do both. I had to pick between the two sides of my life. And that was a struggle for about 2 years. I was very unhappy, I was depressed, and just really hated what I was doing for my day job. And every time I would leave my 9 to whenever the hell I was done, go to teach dance, and that was like the best stress relief and best gift I could have for myself. Last summer, I went on a family trip to Texas, and I met this woman called Napa Spain. Her first name is literally her last name spelled backwards. I don't know. But I went to take a couple of her classes. She had just opened up her own studio there, and we became best friends right away. I talked to her for like so long, and I told her what I wanted to do. Like, I wish I could just dance full time. I wish I didn't have to do this office job. And she said that all you need is a room. And that stuck with me. So I I was just on vacation. I came back to Halifax, and literally as soon as I got back, I looked for that one big room, and 2 months later, quit my job and just started my own dance studio. So now that was it's so exciting, and now I get to literally dance for a living. I get to just teach people how to be confident and move their body and be so comfortable in themselves. But I was still stressed, because now, even though I'm stressed about my day job, it's actually more stressful when you do something you love and you care about and you're passionate about, because the stakes are higher. You don't want to disappoint other people. You don't want to disappoint yourself. So now I felt like, once I found something I love, I'm going to be so happy. But now I'm more scared. I'm more stressed than I've ever been, because it's now my own thing as opposed to just someone else's company. My grandmother we used to have a mango tree in the Philippines growing up, and she used to always just go there and pick a mango and sit on her rocking chair and just reflect upon her life. I used to just sit with her, and it was my favorite thing to do. Granted, she was also 80 and had nothing to do but reflect on her life, because what else was she going to do? But what I learned from her is that it's so important to reflect upon the great things you have going on for yourself, because it's so hard to keep thinking about what's next, what you need to do, what's shitty in your life that you need to fix, that you don't think about what you have so great going for yourself. I literally get to just move my body every day. I get paid to twerk, or whatever it is you call it. And it's my mom still doesn't understand what it is. She's always like, are you working today? I'm like, I work every single day, Mom. But she will never understand that, and that's fine. She's still amazing and supportive. But now I get to dance, and I think it's so important for everyone to, in order to maintain a quality of life that's great, there will always be struggles. There will always be issues and stressful things, but Nova Scotia has such an amazing and supportive community that I would have never experienced anywhere else in any city that I've been to. And I love that I get to experience that here, be surrounded by people that tell me yes, you can open a dance studio, you can dance for a living, you can build communities and, create a space where people can literally just move their bodies and be emotional about how great that makes them feel. I've had people cry at the end of a class because of a breakthrough they've had in themselves. And that's something I get to facilitate for people, and that's really scary, but also so satisfying. And I think it's really important that everyone should take the time to reflect upon that, because you will forget that is what you do. Whether you have found something that you love to do, or you're still finding yourself, there's always room to find something that you're happy about and can reflect on. And thank you all so much for being such a supportive community. My parents used to tell me, you need to do some Toastmasters, some kind of thing where you know how to speak. I'm not the best speaker, but I feel so comfortable speaking in front of all of you. And I love that I get to do that, and thank you for having me again. But if you ever feel like you need to dance as well, I am here for that. Please talk to me. But yeah, thank you again. Again, support each other. reflect upon what's good in your life, because you all have something going great for yourself. You live in Halifax, so that's one thing to be thankful for. And again, love each other. Thank you for having me.